Hey folks, with the Year of the Gryphon is going to be coming a new Hearthstone Core Set, and I thought I would do a top 10 list of some Hearthstone Classic and Basic cards I don't want to see come back in that core set for the Year of the Gryphon, and some replacements I think could spice things up. Starting off at number 10, we have Wild Pyromancer, a 2-mana 3/2 that deals 1 damage to all minions after you cast a spell. This card has seen a ton of play in control decks throughout Hearthstone's history, with priests especially being able to pull off some shenanigans to take control of the early to mid game. While I don't think the card is broken, I think it's been used enough that it might be time for it to chill and take a bit of a vacation and give some other cards a shot. A good card that can take the mantle might be Spawn of N'Zoth, a 1-mana 1/1 with Death Rattle, deal 1 damage to all minions. Since the retrains of the Old Gods will still be in rotation, Spawn can actually thematically fit in well, and fills the spot for an early game board control. Another good option would be Explosive Sheep, which Mage has used in the past to great success. It has the same effect as Spawn of N'Zoth, but costs 1 more mana and deals 1 more damage. At number 9, we have Light's Justice, a 1-mana 1/4 weapon for Paladin. When was the last time you ever thought about Light's Justice? This card is just awful. I don't think we've ever seen it run in a deck. It just doesn't feel great to get off of random generation either. I think a good replacement for it would be Muster for Battle, a 3-mana spell that summons 3 1/1 Silverhand recruits and gives you a 1/4 weapon. It's 2 mana more, but you gain the upside of the Silverhand recruits, and with all the recent support for the dudes, it would be a good fit for where Paladin is right now. Number 8. Sorcerer's Apprentice. This card can make card design very restrictive because of how generic and cheap it is. I actually don't have a good replacement from older cards for it, but I think creating a similar card that works with a specific spell school would be a cool addition to the game. Something like all fire spells cost 1 less, or all frost spells cost 1 less. Something around that line could make for an interesting replacement. Number 7. For the number 7 spot, we have a tie between Shadow Step and Preparation. Both of them have been staples in basically every Rogue deck throughout Hearthstone's history, and have allowed Rogue to do some pretty bonker things. They both cost 0, letting Rogue set up their combo cards for free, and have great effects on top of that. Shadow Step lets you use your Battle Cry and combo minions twice, and Preparation can often let you get that little bit extra damage. Shadow Step especially has been used historically with Edwin Van Cleef to get him to super large numbers very early on in the game that most decks can't deal with. And although Edwin will be rotating out, it still is a very abusable card for Rogue for many other things. With how strong both of those cards are and how prominent they've been through Hearthstone's history, being featured in basically every Rogue deck, it might be a nice time to give them a year or so off, and try some new things out. I think an interesting replacement for them could be Counterfeit Coin or Cut Purse. We know that Tomb Pillager will be making a return in the core set, and I think that coins could be an interesting direction to take Rogue, letting them do similar things but in different ways. As a side note, Counterfeit Coin would make a really good coin aesthetic option. Blizzard, think about it. I was a big fan of Jade Golems, so Jade Golem coin, pretty cool. Number 6. Ancient of Lore, a 7-mana 5/5 that lets you either draw a card or restore 5 health. It's not that exciting to play. It is an epic, and it doesn't see a lot of play. I think its slot could be better suited for another card. A card with a similar stat array that has the same cost and rarity would be Giant Anaconda, which is a 7-mana 5/3 with Death Rattle, summon a minion from your hand that costs 5 or more. I think this card could be a nice option for a few different Druid decks, especially with cards like Survival of the Fittest, which will still be in rotation and gives all of your minions a pretty big buff at +4/+4. It's also a beast, and with the new 7-mana Druid Epic card, Druid of the Plains, maybe Big Beast Druid could be a thing. Who knows? It might be fun. Number 5. Another Druid card, Savage Roar, a 3-mana spell that gives your hero and minions +2 attack for the turn. Tree Druid and Token Druid are historically some of my favorite decks, and Savage Roar has always been a key component to those decks. Basically just one of those cards that lets you win a game out of nowhere, and it's been a staple for those Token Druid decks throughout Hearthstone's history. I think it can create some really feel-bad moments for the receiving player, and with cards like Solar Eclipse in the game right now letting you double its effect for only 2 mana, I think it just might be better to take it out for now. I don't really have a great replacement for it. Arbor Up fills its role pretty well, and will still be in rotation in the Year of the Gryphon. At 2 more mana, you're getting 2 trees as well, and +1 health, and you're making the effect permanent. A cheap replacement, though, that might work would be Mark of the Lotus, which is a 1-mana spell that gives all your minions +1/+1. That could allow you to stabilize and push for damage cheaply, and also provide wide buffs to your board. I think the combination of these two cards would allow less of a burst type playstyle for Token Druid, and instead build wide boards that slowly and progressively get stronger and stronger as the game goes on. Number 4. Similar to the last card, Bloodlust is a 5-mana Shaman spell that gives your minions +3 attack for the turn. This is another mid-game finisher for token decks, and Shaman historically has been able to make pretty cheap wide boards. This card has not been able to see much play recently, but is another one of those cards that can create really feel-bad, unfun moments for your opponent. I think that maybe a more focused replacement would be good, something like Thunderbluff Valiant, which is a 5-mana 3/6 that gives your totems +2 attack whenever you use your hero power. Now, it does have the keyword Inspire attached to it, which adding extra keywords doesn't seem like an ideal solution for Blizzard, but one thing that they could do is just errata the card, especially since we'll all be getting the core set for free, and just have it read out whenever you use your hero power. Give your totems +2 attack. In the number 3 spot, another tie is Freezing and Explosive Trap. Freezing Trap is a 2-mana secret, which is whenever an enemy minion attacks, it is returned to your opponent's hand and costs 2 more. Explosive Trap, on the other hand, deals 2 damage to all enemies whenever an enemy minion goes face. Like Shadow Step and Preparation in Rogue, these have been staples in basically every Hunter deck throughout Hearthstone's meta. While they can be annoying, they aren't really broken, and reward good players who attack in the correct order. I honestly think that they're great cards in design, balance, flavor, and they're competitive. With all that said, Hunter has a wide variety of secrets throughout their history, and it might be nice to just kind of rotate in a couple and rotate out some of the more staple ones, just to spice things up in the meta. 2 of my favorite picks would be Bear Trap, which summons a 3/3 bear with taunt after your hero is attacked, and Rat Trap, which summons a 6/6 rat whenever your opponent plays 3 cards in one turn. I think that these are flavorful, balanced, competitive, and also reward skilled play and create interesting decision making in Hearthstone, and would probably be, in my opinion, some of the best options as replacements. Number 2. Ironbeak Owl. Ironbeak Owl is a 3-mana 2/1 beast. Its effect is Battlecry, Silence a Minion, and while it hasn't seen much play recently, it just isn't really a fun card. Silence is probably one of the most powerful and boring keywords in Hearthstone, and having a cheap generic silence on a stick can make some really feel-bad moments while playing the game. Playing your big, awesome 8-mana minion with a cool effect just for it to be silenced and then your opponent still has 7 mana do whatever they want, it's not great. I think it would be nice to have a new minion, somewhere in like the 5 to 6 mana range, that has the same effect. This would make a little bit more decision making when you're trying to silence something, and also wouldn't be quite so versatile. Which for most cards I don't think would be a good thing, but when it comes to silence, I think a little bit less versatility might be better. Now, before we get to the number 1 spot, I would like to do an honorable mention, and that is every charge minion. It's just another one of those keywords that I don't think is great, and honestly, with Rush now in Hearthstone, I think that we could really do away with charge and kind of pick more key moments. Now, some of the minions that I think that use charge really well are Alakir the Windlord and Gromash Hellscream. I think that these two make the most use out of charge, being legendary so you only have 1 copy of them, and also having a high mana cost to go along with it. With that being said, I also think though that Alakir is vastly understated for how much mana he costs, while Gromash I actually view as probably the best designed charge minion in Hearthstone that I can think of off the top of my head. So if Hearthstone decided to keep a charge minion in the core set, I would hope it would be Gromash. Now, time for the number 1 pick. My number 1 pick for the card I would most hate to see come back to the core set for the Year of the Gryphon, and honestly just in general, is Silverback Patriarch. It's a really boring choice, but I think it really highlights the issue with the Classic and Basic cards, and that is just how bad they are. Looking only at other 3-mana neutral taunts, there are other minions that are strict upgrades. Overconfident Orc is a 1/6 that has +2 attack while at full health. Gnomergon Infantry is a 1/4 that has taunt and charge. Bronze Gatekeeper is a 1/5 with magnetic and taunt. Tar Creeper is a 1/5 that has +2 attack on your opponent's turn. Squirming Tentacle is a 2/4. Stonehill Defender is a 1/4 that discovers a taunt minion. And even though all of these are better than Silverback Patriarch, I wouldn't even consider any of them to be power creep. Just because Silverback Patriarch I don't think has ever seen competitive play in any Hearthstone meta, even the very beginning. It's a great meme that can live on in our hearts forever, but probably not in the core set. And those are my top 10 cards I don't want to see come back. What are your top 10? Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? Let me know down in the comments. If you liked the video, that's cool. If you didn't like the video, that's cool too. I can't control what you like and what you dislike. If you think I can improve, let me know. Anyways, I'm out of stuff to say now. So, bye!